Hey guys, welcome back to the Fastbreak-Podcast. Today, I want to do an early episode to just, debrief a little bit of what's happened and kind of review and answer some questions about the Sacramento Kings and see what else the Kings have to do to make this offseason really successful. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. It's going to be a short and quick episode, probably around 10 minutes or so, but I got you guys back next week with another episode, possibly with 2 special guests. And I will not be uploading as frequently these next couple of weeks and so on, because I have school starting soon, so I may not be able to upload as much, but I'll try my best to keep up with everything that's happening with training camp happening in a couple months and the season. Oh, now that we've know what we're going to do today, let's get right into the video. Okay, our first question we have to answer, it's probably going to be the biggest question too, is what do the Sacramento Kings still need to do to make this offseason a fantastic offseason? So, the Kings have already had an amazing offseason so far with signing Malik Monk in free agency, trading for Kevin Huerter, drafting Keegan Murray. So we've gotten a lot more good assets on this team with shooting, defensive-wise. So I think we're in a good spot right now. But I feel like there's just one more move that's waiting just to be done. And I feel like it's going to be something big. I don't know why. It's just there's been a lot of trade moves with Donovan Mitchell coming to the Kings. I don't know why that would work. I don't know how that would work without trading Fox or Sabonis, and we don't want to move on from them this early, so I don't know why we want to do it right there, do Donovan Mitchell move, but I still think there may be a big trade coming up, but I may talk myself out of it later this episode. And right now we're going to talk about what NBA teams in the Western Conference won't make the playoffs that made the playoffs last season. The NBA standings last year for the 2021-22 NBA season was the Miami Heat at first, Boston Celtics, Milwaukee Bucks, Philadelphia 76ers, Toronto Raptors, and Chicago Bulls in the playoffs. So, people that were in the play-in were the Brooklyn Nets, Atlanta Hawks, Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Charlotte Hornets. Okay, so the Eastern Conference, it's difficult, but I feel like if the Chicago Bulls have a lot of injuries like they did last season, with losing Zach LaVine for part of the season, and if Zach LaVine just continues to get hurt, or the players on that team continue to get hurt, I feel like they would bump down to the play-in, and the Cleveland Cavaliers or even the Wizards, just like that, could bump into the playoffs. Or no, not the Wizards. The Cavaliers or the Hawks or something could bump in. So I think the Chicago Bulls will probably get bumped down out of the playoffs, and even maybe possibly the Philadelphia 76ers. With still, they're figuring out. I just got an ESPN notification saying that NBA has opened an investigation into 76ers for possible tampering and early contract with summer free agent signing. So we still don't know 100% if James Harden is staying. It's kind of weird what's happening with free agents over there. But yeah, I think the Chicago Bulls are going to bump down either the Atlanta Hawks and Cleveland Cavaliers are going to bump into the playoffs, because the Cleveland Cavaliers have shown great potential last season with drafting Evan Mobley and just having a lot of good young players, but it's also for them. They have to stay healthy. And Jarrett Allen, he got injured the last 2-3 months of the season. And that was crucial because they could have bumped into that, 7th or 6th seed. But, yeah, they just got to make sure they stay healthy. So now, probably the hardest conference, the toughest conference season. There is Phoenix Suns at number 1. Grizzlies at number 2, Warriors at 3, Dallas at 4, Utah Jazz at 5, Denver at 6. The Western Conference is just a really talented, really skilled conference. Like, all these teams are extraordinary good teams, but I'm sorry, but the Utah Jazz, they just, with losing Rudy Gobert, that's just their prime defense. That's like their only good defensive weapon on their team. I'm like, who's the other good defender? Like, Joe Ingles? I literally have no idea. Like, Rudy Gobert was the only person that was good at defense for that team. So yeah, I think the Utah Jazz are going to drop out, and either, if the Clippers are healthy with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, if they're healthy, I feel like I say that. I feel like that's happened like many seasons before though. Like, oh, if they're healthy, they're going to be a really good team. But in reality, they're only healthy for like both of them, like for 10 games. So if they're healthy, they're definitely in there. Or even the Minnesota Timberwolves, they could slide in there with a little playoff run. But yeah, guys, I'm hoping for the Sacramento Kings to either make the play-in or the playoffs. I mean, like, even if you finished 9th, that would be huge improvement in placing 12th last season. And also the play-in in the Western Conference is just deadly. Like, there's teams like the Lakers in the play-in, teams like the Pelicans in the play-in. So it's going to be tough for who's going to make the playoffs over the Utah Jazz. It's either going to be, for me, if the Utah Jazz don't make the playoffs, it's either going to be the Clippers, the Lakers, the Trailblazers, or the Kings. Let me say that again. The Timberwolves, the Lakers, the Sacramento Kings, or the Blazers. The two that are most likely probably going to make it, I think, are going to be the Timberwolves and the Portland Trailblazers. I think that because, I mean, Portland Trailblazers, they adding Jeremy Grant, Josh Hart, they're slowly adding some better assets to the team. And I feel like with all these teams that could possibly make the plan, there's still a lot of moves that they could do this summer. But yeah, those are the 4 teams in the Western Conference that I think may be able to sneak in to the playoffs, at least the play-in. But yeah. Okay, so that's who I think who will maybe go out of that playoff run and have other teams sneak in there. Those are the 2 teams. The Bulls and the Jazz. Those are the 2 teams, I think. Okay. The Kings this season. They've had a great offseason. But there has been a lot of buzz about Kings making a big trade. Like, even Monty McNair said with the Dallas trade, when they traded their pick, they traded Jaden Hardy, the person that they picked, to the Mavericks for a bigger trade. So Monty McNair, he even said in the introductory press conference that he's not done. He's not done. Like, he's still looking. He's not finished yet. So I feel like Monty McNair is planning, or at least like really looking to see what other options are out there, like with Donovan Mitchell. I'm not saying the Kings are going to make, like, for sure they're going to make a huge move, but I'm saying that it's really possible for them to do that. I feel like a lot of it is just them looking, but I feel like there's going to be some sort of other trade happening to really make this Kings team ready for that, either play-in or playoff run. And I got another question saying, what do you think the Kings' future looks like? I think the Kings' future looks like a play-in team. The Kings, on paper, look like a play-in team. But also, if the Western Conference somehow is 100% healthy, I see him as a barely play-in team. But there's some star player on some team gets injured. So, like, a lot of people get injured or sit-out games, so a lot could happen in the NBA season, but I hope the Sacramento Kings could be a good 8th, 9th, 10th seed next season. And even if who knows, they could just absolutely obliterate and just get top 6 to make the playoffs. But, like, yeah. This season, I feel like every single team in the Western Conference play-in is going to have 40 or more wins. It's just like Western Conference is that good. So hopefully the Kings can make the play-in, but that's what I think what the Kings' future looks like. They see them as a play-in team, and hopefully they can do that this season. That's going to be it for this mini short episode, bonus episode of the Fastbreak-Podcast. Hopefully I can see you guys next week for another episode with possibly 2 special guests. And that's going to be it for today, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. Share this video with Kings fan, Blazers fan, any NBA fan. And you guys have a good day.